I'm Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 130, How to Change Relationship Dynamics. Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. Hope this finds you doing well. I hope this finds you feeling like you're making progress in your life and in your relationships, and most of all, with your relationship with you, which is the most important relationship of all. It truly is. Today, we're going to be talking about relationship dynamics and some of the things that I see as a coach, some of the patterns that I see. And I'm going to be sharing some pitfalls to watch out for. You're going to probably learn some new things. I have learned some new things that I want to come and share with you. So I have been following somebody named Lauren Kren for quite a while. I really resonate with the things that he says. It feels like truth to me most of the time. And I decided to take a course from him about awakening your feminine, like learning how to be more powerful in your feminine. And I learned a lot in that, and a lot about myself, and just in general, some things that are good to know. And some of the things that I learned, I knew that I needed to come share with you. Now, as always, this is going to come from me and my voice, my words, my experience in the realm specifically with infidelity, okay? But some of these things, when I think I give a quote, or I'm going to give a quote or two that are specific to him, but it's coming through my own experiences and things that I wanted to share in regards to some of the things I learned. Okay, so let's just jump on in here. All right, so for many people, before infidelity, the woman in the relationship may feel more responsible for the maturity and growth of the relationship, for the health of the relationship. She may instinctively see things in the relationship that are concerning to her, and she tries to fix them. For example, a woman may spot when a man is acting out of integrity. It probably feels off in her own body. She can feel it. And when she brings it up to him, he often will avoid or deflect or defend. And if he is asleep to himself, meaning if he doesn't have a lot of self-concept other than kind of trying to protect his fragile ego, he is going to automatically run from the conversation or turn the blame around on you or become defensive. Over time, as these patterns continue, a woman can become sort of panicked because it seems like nothing is changing. She can shut down, she can close off her heart, or she can act like she just doesn't care. She does deeply, deeply care, but she's trying to protect herself from getting hurt even deeper. She often is trying to protect her heart. Resentment can creep in, often on both sides, because in reality, neither one is getting their needs met. The man may feel like he is not getting what he wants and needs in the realm of physical intimacy, and that may be true. But in general, it didn't just randomly happen. It didn't just randomly happen that the partner just decides to turn a cold shoulder to you and not be intimate with you. When a woman doesn't feel safe, it is hard for her and can feel out of integrity for her to just kind of be robotic and go through the motions when she's not emotionally feeling connected. She wants that connection, and it can feel really off to try to just give it up because of the mental gymnastics she has to go through and the numbing that she often has to experience to be able to go through with it. So sometimes what happens is she will just pull back from that and not be interested in it And then he will feel resentful and like his wife is not doing what she agreed to do, and will sometimes even feel a little bit of betrayal there. And what can happen is both can end up being really resentful of each other, right? They can both be closed off to each other, pushed away from each other. And then infidelity occurs and adds a whole lot more pain and suffering to this dynamic. It highlights and showcases the problems that were already there and just adds more hurt. Okay, so now let's get to the heart of this episode. What to do now? What to do now? Okay, after infidelity, post infidelity, there's often this feeling of being out of control. Like this all is happening around me and I have no say in it. I had no control in these things that were going on right under my nose. And you may want control. It may feel good to pull back some control. And what this can look like is like one, trying to orchestrate how it's going to go, what the recovery is going to look like, what has to happen in order for things to move forward, like a scripted list. And here's where we get it wrong. Here's where this is a problem. Most men operate from their head. They have learned long ago to shut off their hearts, to go do the things that they were taught to do, okay? So one of the things I've learned about in more depth from Lauren is generational trauma of both men and women. And one of the things that men have experienced is they were taught to fight, to go to war, to protect. And in order to pull off the things that need to happen in a war, which entails, right, hurting other people, killing other people, cruel things of oftentimes of innocent people, men have learned to shut down the heart. They have learned to shut down all emotion and feeling and operate highly just from their brain. Very robotic, just get the job done. Very much out of touch with their own feelings. And for most men, it takes hitting a rock bottom of sorts to crack their heart open again and to really see the impact of their choices. This can be a catalyst for deep healing and change for them, learning how to get reconnected with their hearts and dropping out of their heads. It can be that if they allow it. Now, I want to offer a little side note here. We're told this story of men who sleep around, right? And we make it mean that they just need that all the time, maybe sex addict, that kind of thing. And while they may be sex addicts, that might be a thing. What actually is true for many, many men is that they're so deprived of emotion within themselves that they're so numb that that's the one place where they can drop out of their head and into their body and feel something. And so part of the recovery from that kind of thing is learning to open up hearts and open up feelings so that you can feel things outside of that space and create safety with another person, right? Now, women are naturally a little bit better at feeling, but many of us over time have shut that off too, just to avoid the searing pain of infidelity, of feeling unchosen, all of those things that come up. And infidelity can crack open hearts as well and kind of thaw out some of the things that we've avoided because of the pain. It can crack it open. We can look at it and go, okay, now what? Now what? Now, from here, many couples fall right back into old patterns, but it looks like this. The woman often kind of takes charge of fixing of the spouse, just like before the infidelity. She micromanages. She will do daily check-ins with all the questions about who he talked to, who he texted, checking the phones, apps, etc. He may feel obligated to go along, but it often feels more like a mother-child relationship rather than husband and wife, and can be a big turnoff at best and can often make things much worse by playing out that dynamic of like a caretaker, of a mother role. So what is the solution here? There really is only one solution. In order to really heal the cycle, each person needs to do individual healing. Instead of being in the role of directing the healing process, women need to step back and let the guy take charge of his own process. And this is really freakishly hard, okay? I don't want to minimize how hard this is. It feels much safer to try to manage the whole thing. Like I get to stay up here in this level of like executive where I get to determine what this looks like and think about his progress and avoid looking at me, avoid really digging into my own feelings, avoid looking at what I need actually for me personally to feel safe. Let's make it all about him. That feels safer. But in reality, what do you want? Do you want someone you feel like you need to monitor till the end of time? Or do you want someone who will learn to self-direct their own behavior? Someone who will willingly and fully step into owning their own integrity and align their words with their actions, not just to appease you, but because it is who they want to be. And at the end of the day, which one do you actually trust more? The one that is kind of jumping through the hoops because this is what you tell them to do, or the one who is taking full ownership of their own growth, of their own integrity, and you are benefiting from it because you can feel it from them. The other piece here is that in the healing of a relationship, polarity is really important. That is where men show up as their highest, most manly self, and women as their fiercest, most womanly self. Okay, polarity, like the masculine and feminine push and pull, not in a mother-father space, but as partners. When we step into trying to control, we lose some of that polarity because you're taking on this kind of motherly role rather than a fierce partner role. You are not the caretaker here. That is not what you want to sign up for, okay? You do not want to be the caretaker. So some of the shifts here are learning to create safety within yourself so that you can show up with the most integrity in saying what you mean and meaning what you say, learning to be direct. Instead of saying broad statements like you're a liar and a cheat, saying instead things like what you did with the exact example of what you're referring to made me not trust you and not feel safe with you. This is not attacking and will be far more helpful than making general statements that tend to lead to shutting down and shame. Like, I'm just worthless, I'm a loser, shut down, right? Being clear and concise and direct is your best bet, and it will require a lot from you. It will require more from you. It requires you to get to the heart of the problem rather than staying in generalities or in focusing just on their hurt feelings. It requires both parties to learn to communicate in a way that they maybe never have, but that is necessary to really repair. And the hardest part about this, it requires vulnerability. It requires opening up the heart and sharing what is there, knowing you could get rejected. Okay, so saying things like, I want to know you. I want you to know me. I want to hear what is true for you, even if it is hard to hear. And I want to share what is true for me without you shutting down on me or escaping. Okay, this is really brave work. This requires a lot of courage. Something Lauren Kren said about this work is it doesn't have to be hard work. I thought that was interesting. It is about staying with yourself, grounded in what your heart is seeing. Okay, it's hard work. It's also, I'm adding this in, heart work. It's heart work. It is getting clear on what is in your heart and learning to speak it. It takes courage and bravery. It doesn't have to be hard. It does take heart and courage. And it is a practice. It requires practice. It requires going in and being willing to be messy. Okay? This is the change. These are some of the changes that will turn the whole ship around and allow for marriage 2.0 to be created. It has to be different. It has to be. There have to be new patterns established. Okay? This episode has been a general overview of what needs to happen and why. You've got to drop out of being the caretaker. These patterns, okay? You got to drop out of trying to fix them so that you can feel safer, and learn to feel safer within yourself so that you can really see what you need to see. Inside out rather than outside in. Okay? Changing the way we speak, changing the way we say the things that are on our minds and in our hearts. Now, if you want help learning the skills and tools to pull this off, I ask you to come join my program. This is the work we do inside my program. I help you to learn to create more safety within yourself so you can go do brave things in the world that align with what you want. Okay, I want you to feel safe enough to say and do the things that are scariest to you and to feel worthy of all the best things in life. I want you to learn how to do this so that you can go create all the things that you want and get out of your own way. Most of us just do not have the skills and tools, and I want to help you with that. Okay, so if you're interested in joining, now is the time, as my new group begins in January. And I want you just to go ahead and take a look in the show notes at the program information. There's going to be another class coming up that I'm going to be teaching some things and then sharing more info about my program. If this is stuff that you need help with, if you need help strengthening yourself so that you can become less of a caretaker and more of a partner, or seeing if you are with somebody who can be a partner to you, I invite you to join. Okay, to go check it out. This stuff is hard to do on our own. This stuff it's tricky to see the patterns that we're even participating in. And I help with that. I help you to see exactly how you're getting in your own way. We've only been with the group I'm with now, we've only been in, one started in the end of September, one started just a few weeks ago. And it's just remarkable so quickly to hear people say, just someone a couple weeks ago said, I've gotten more in 2 weeks than I did in months and months of therapy. I think she actually said years of therapy, that it's been more, she's learned more about herself in 2 weeks than she did in years of therapy. Like, we go deep, we go in, we go deep, we get to the heart of things. And I'm there to help you do the things that scare you the most so you can have what you want. The kind of relationship you want where you're not settling for anything. Okay, if this sounds interesting to you, please go to the show notes and go check out my program, or go to AndreaGiles.com and check out my program. Look at your dynamics, look how you're contributing, and you have so much power to turn that around. All right, thank you so much. That's what I've got for you today, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.